I'm talking and talking, and I was muted. Hi, you may have seen my lips moving for a while now, with no sound coming out. So good morning, and we won't go back, other than to say, you should now be seeing pictures of the Joyful Noise Band and Choir. And you see all those folks up there, and you see their names. And I'm going to roll back 1 minute. What I was saying about the choir is if you'd like to join the choir, please let us know. That's probably for the people who are in the room. But if you plan on coming back, you can join the choir if you like. And what else was I saying? What was it? They are the featured special today, and the song is beautiful, and we are going to be very blessed by the choir's music this morning. All right, let me see if I can get back on track. I have some good news that has nothing to do with church per se, but it has everything to do with church and with our world. So I opened the news just about 10 minutes ago, I was talking to our board president, Linda Harton, and her husband, John, about attendance numbers, and perhaps because of COVID, people are staying away from church more than they were when we first started to come back. And so I just opened the news because Spirit told me to, apparently, and I saw this article. And it says COVID-19 case numbers are falling in 2 of 3 South Florida counties. And so in Miami-Dade and in, I want to say, wherever Jacksonville is, and West Palm Beach, they only had 95 new cases last week. So the supposition is that it's trending downward, and we may have reached the peak. So why I say that is that I don't know if you've been a little concerned with what's been happening with the Delta variant. I have been, and I invite us to just envision that slide once again as more people are getting vaccinated and the incidences of COVID-19 Delta variant are dropping. So let's just all hold that together as a community and in our vision. So thank you all for that. Oh, we're going to say good morning to who's watching. Yes, and sorry about the sound. Oh, I'm just going to ramble on for a few minutes if you don't mind. Let me tell you about how our audiovisual upgrade is coming along. The new camera has been ordered, and some other things have been ordered, and we have plans to continue to upgrade some of the things that you really don't notice, like our speakers and monitors, and a new microphone for me. And the biggest thing that's going to impact those watching online is a new camera that will be in the back of the sanctuary, and all this will be going. So once again, thank you all. Yeah, that deserves some applause, I think. Thank you all. Thank you all for your support of that program. And today was another example of why we need it. Okay, so hi to Deborah, and hi to Dennis and Lynn, and hello to Judy in Texas, and to Kenny in Ohio, and to Deb, and to, that's Judy again, and Cheryl. Cheryl, hope you're safe up there in Connecticut, and Henry is backing off, I see a little bit. And to Connie, good morning, Connie. Well wishes and wholeness to you and to Charlie. And Ellen, good morning, everybody. And good morning to you here. If you are here for the first time in the sanctuary this morning, our ushers will be delighted to give you a welcome packet. If you are here for the first time and you are comfortable raising your hand, I invite you to do so right now. Ricky to your left. And yes, all right. And that's Linda, our board president, and Ricky, our head usher, are handing out packets. And if you are watching, and this is the first time you are joining us online, and if you would like a welcome packet, I invite you to email May at admin@unityofstuart.org, and with your name and address, and she would be delighted to send you a welcome packet as well. In that welcome packet, of course, is information about our Unity movement and about our particular community, and there's a prayer request form in there and other things. And what we mostly want you to know is that no matter where you've been before today, no matter where you're going after today, that you are welcome here, You honor us with your presence, and unity leaves no one out. We are all originally blessed. So thank you for being here. I'm going to get rid of some of these electronics on my podium here. Okay. So we're going to continue with some announcements. And there's that, and that. And our first announcement is that that's our website, of course, unityofstuart.org. And then there's a link there if you'd like to be on the newsletter. There's some exciting things coming up as the year is not coming to a close, but somehow it feels a little bit like that as we're almost into the fourth quarter. And if you would like to set a prayer intention that our chaplains will hold in prayer, if you're here in the sanctuary, please, the prayer box is out and on the information, near the information table. You can write a prayer intention and leave it in the prayer box. If you are watching, you can go to that link, prayer, at unityofstuart.org, and our prayer chaplains will pray over your prayer intention. And of course, there's the Silent Unity prayer line for you. This is one of the exciting things coming up in September is our Women of Wisdom group, otherwise known as WOW. And I have to make a little confession, is that I totally stole that name off a previous church I served. Their women's group was called Women of Wisdom, also known as WOW. So thank you, Unity Spiritual Center in Albuquerque. That name goes on. And so Stacy Goldstein, where are you, Stacy? She's way in the back. There she is if you want to turn around. She's way in the back and with her black mask on. And if you would like to have more information about what the women's group is, you can see Stacy after the service. And so that's every Monday evening in person beginning September 13th. Of course, masks are required. If you'd like more information about that, you can email May at admin@unityofstuart.org, and she'll make sure that Stacy gets the email. All right, onward. Our gift store team, our gift store is open. If you'd like to be part of that team and serve one Sunday a month in the gift store, we invite you to sign up in the foyer at the information table. And finally, for this bit of announcements, we have a coffee house concert coming up on August 27th at 7 p.m. And so what that is about connected souls coming together in song and in fun. And if you have never been at a coffee house, come and join us for that. Of course, masks are required for that as well. And Doreen, do you have anything you'd like to say about that?
This Friday, come.
All right, this Friday. Time flies. All right. Give me 1 second to get my act together here.
I will add that Dr. Rick is going to join us on piano.
Yes, Dr. Rick is...
He's amazing, and he'll be doing one of his own compositions. Anybody who likes George Winston, he does kind of George Winston kind of piano. And Michael Barrett. Yep.
All right, very good. Terrific. I'm going to take a deep breath at this moment, and I invite you to join with me as we dedicate our service. And let us dedicate our service this morning to peace in all things and gratitude for it. Our affirmation for today is, I am filled with the awareness of peace. Let's take a deep breath into that right now. I am filled with the awareness of peace. I feel the presence of God in and all around me. It warms and calms me as I sit in the silence, or as I sit in church, or as I prepare to start my day. I take this peace out into the world. It is my gift to share with everyone I meet. The peace of God flows outward from me. Others may not realize why they feel sudden tranquility uplifting them. I say nothing, I just smile as I go about my day. This wonderful, peaceful presence within me can never be diminished or exhausted because it is unlimited and mine to share freely. I also receive it in great measure. It overflows my heart and suffuses my entire being. The whole world feels peaceful to me. God is here. Inner peace is here. All is well. So in that space of inner peace and in that knowing that all is well, we open our hearts and minds to the peace of spirit that is here right now. We don't have to go looking for it. What is ours to do is breathe, become aware of the peace of spirit, the peace of God, and dwell there. We are grateful for inner peace. We are grateful that we are filled with an awareness of peace. And so it is. Amen. And now let's affirm together. Together. I am filled with the awareness of peace. And let's take that deep breath, anchoring in this claim, this affirmation together. I am filled with an awareness of peace. And so it is. Amen. And as we prepare for a prayerful meditation, let's sing Be Still. Becoming aware of where we might be holding any tension in our bodies. We take another deep breath. Loosening whatever needs to be loosened. Releasing tension wherever we may be holding it. Knowing that the Holy Spirit lives, moves, and has its being within each one of us. We dive into this time of prayerful meditation. Feeling our feet on the ground. We set the intention to be here now. Letting go of any experiences of the past week. Letting go of any judgments, any concerns, any self-doubt of anything, of any situation that appears to be too much. We release, let go, and feel the peace of this sacred space that we co-create together. And as we continue breathing into a state of gratitude, I invite you to allow the words you hear to become the words of your own mind and heart this morning. As long as I have breath, I have life. As long as I have life, I am grateful. So in this moment, I activate my gratitude. I activate my gratitude for this sacred space. Taking another deep, calming breath, I expand my gratitude. Breathing in gratitude for all that I am and all that I have experienced. I am grateful for my loved ones. I am grateful for my home and for all the blessings in my life. And in this next breath, I breathe in gratitude for my oneness in God. I know I am whole. I am love. I am at one. I give thanks for all of it. I give thanks for my life, for all experiences, for all that brings me ever closer in my awareness of oneness, in my awareness that I am a beloved expression of the one. I am grateful. I am grateful. I am grateful. In the quiet. And as we are dwelling in this place of peace, of knowing that we are at one, I invite us to bring into our awareness all of those who are on our prayer list here at Unity of Stuart, and all of those that we hold in our minds and hearts this morning, seeing each one lifted up in this peace, in the comfort of knowing that God is here right now, and that we bring all into alignment with God, with Spirit, with the divine infinite. And let us speak these names and situations out into this holy space. And releasing all into the care and keeping of the one, I invite you to pray in the name, in the nature, and in the holy presence of the indwelling Christ consciousness. And so it is. Amen. So we do have our Joyful Noise Choir. Oh no, we're singing the Lord's Prayer. It's a new thing, just started last week. Let's sing together the new Lord's Prayer. So what we're going to do now, what I'm going to do, is go down as I did last week, turn the camera over to our choir, and we'll be blessed by Joyful Noise Choir. And there they are. Hold on a second. Let me get you in the camera correctly. There we go. Thank you, choir. Oh, boy. Every time I heard them rehearse that song, it gave me the chills. Okay, let's see. taking care of the camera. I'll be right there. All right. Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you. So this might seem like a miracle that we have a choir up here after not having a choir for just about a year and a half, and I was being a little nervous that we wouldn't be having choir again because of COVID. So we're already miracle workers. We're already miracle workers. And we've been looking this month at how to be miracle workers following the teachings of our master teacher, Jesus. And we're doing this by looking into the 12 conditions of a miracle. It's a book that I've been using called The 12 Conditions of a Miracle by Dr. Todd Michael, who delved into the story of the loaves and fishes and translated it from the original Greek and got a deeper understanding of what the conditions that were met in order to multiply the loaves and the fish. And of course, we look at all of this through a metaphysical lens. So the thing about the 12 conditions of a miracle, it's that it's the law of cause and effect, right? What we do has an effect. And so what is ours to do is to set the universal law into motion for a specific purpose. So they were taught by Jesus. And in the miracle, the 12 specific conditions we also call here, metaphysically speaking, states of consciousness that we can embody, that we can establish in our own being so that we can become miracle workers. So up until today, we have explored, no, I don't want that. We have explored the first 7 conditions of a miracle. And they are emptiness, alignment, asking, maximizing, giving, grounding, and seeing. And at this point, if you'd like to know about all of those, you can watch the last 3 services that, of course, are on YouTube and Facebook. And then next week is the last week. I'll have a sheet that I will hand out here, and if you'd like it, I can email it to you as well. So today we're looking at conditions 8, 9, and 10. And condition number 8, we'll just jump right in. We've done a lot of that this morning already. It's gratitude. So reading from Matthew 14:19. We added 2 simple words from what I read last week. And here we go. And he ordered or told the people to sit down on the ground, which is condition number 6. And he took the 5 loaves of bread and the 2 fish, and he looked up to heaven and blessed them. So that's the word that activates condition number 8. The words blessed them. The Greek word used that was translated into blessed in the traditional passage can indeed mean blessed. And it also means to praise, to speak well of, or to be thankful for. So this mindset that calls forth miracles is the mindset of gratitude. And indeed, our founder, Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, taught and wrote that gratitude is the great multiplier of our good. Imagine that, right? That the more grateful we are, the more gratitude we express, our good multiplies. Charles Fillmore also said this: when Jesus had only a small supply, he gave thanks for the little he had. This increased that little into such an abundance that a multitude was satisfied with food, and much was left over. Blessing has not lost its power since the time Jesus used it. The same power of multiplication is in our lives today. Praise and thanksgiving impart the quickening spiritual power that produces growth and increase in all things. It also increases the screensaver. You know, that's what my screensaver is, new words, right? We'll be back in a sec. So, miracle workers are invariably filled with gratitude. And gratitude imparts that more of that spiritual power that produces increase in all things. Miracle workers eat, breathe, and sleep gratitude. Miracle workers experiencing every event in gratitude, in profound appreciation. Every event. Miracle workers give thanks for all experiences in their lives, knowing that everything comes together for good. So I can imagine some of us are in this room or online thinking, that's impossible. That's impossible to have gratitude for everything. It's impossible to have gratitude when I receive news of an illness. It's impossible to feel gratitude when a loved one leaves me or leaves us. I believe our teaching is that we can get to that place of gratitude for all things by going behind it, by going underneath it, by seeing what blessings have come out of it. And I'm not saying that it's easy. What I am saying is that it behooves us, it benefits us to think that that's a possibility because there's healing there for everything. And we were reminded in the last series that we did, the challenge is the way. Every challenge is a way to get closer to Spirit. Every challenge is a way to deepen our spiritual life. So see what you think about these gratitude statements. I'm grateful for the mess to clean up after a party because it means that I have friends to entertain. I am grateful for the taxes I pay. Let's take a deep breath into that. Because it means that I am employed or that I have some money. I am grateful for the lawn that needs mowing, the windows that need cleaning, the floors that need vacuuming, because it means I have a place to live. This is particularly meaningful to me. I am grateful for the pet hair that is everywhere because it means I have my furry friends near me. I'm grateful for my electric bill because it means I am cool enough and I am warm enough. Not to mention I can wash clothes, I can dry clothes, I can put lights on. I am grateful for the alarm that goes off early in the morning because it means that I'm alive and ready for a new day. So I invite you to take a moment now to just close your eyes for a second and reflect on something you can be extremely grateful for that maybe prior to this moment you didn't think you could be. All right, I hope you found something. And now let's move on to conditions 9 and 10. So conditions 9 and 10 are laid out in the words that follow what I just shared. And he took the 5 loaves of bread and the 2 fish, and he looked up to heaven and blessed them, and gave them to the disciples, and the disciples placed them before the people. So the words we're looking at right now, gave them to the disciples, and the disciples placed them before the people. So, this condition is acting as if. So imagine for a moment you're standing in Jesus' sandals. You're looking out at thousands of hungry people, and you've indicated that you're going to do something about their hunger that will defy the known laws of space and time. You're going to feed the entire crowd, and yet you only have an armful of food. You've offered the blessing, and now what do you do? Without skipping a beat, here's what Jesus did. He started breaking up the food for distribution. In other words, he began to act, and he acted as if the existing supply was sufficient to meet the needs of the crowd. Without hesitation, with great confidence, he began breaking up the food for distribution. And he completed the action by handing it back to the disciples and saying, "Give it to them." The most important thing to remember about acting as if is the word acting. Miracle workers don't just pray and visualize. We pray, we do visualize, and then we get into motion. We use our hands, we use our feet, we use our voices. I was having a conversation with somebody this morning who was talking about how we work to overcome our embedded racism and how it's difficult to know what to do, especially as white people. What do we do to combat racism? Because there's where I'll speak for me and for others that I've been in conversation with, that I'm afraid, I sometimes get nervous that I'll say or do the wrong thing. And yet, this person who was sharing with me this morning used her voice to bring to someone's attention that what they were saying was racist and unacceptable. And that's part of what we can do in that situation, is to raise our voice. Sometimes we don't have to go on a march, but we can raise our voice, we can use our hands, we can use our pens for whatever it is that we would like to elevate in the world, to take action. We don't wait for others to take action. We take action ourselves. You've all probably heard the story of the man desperately pleading with God to let him win the lottery, but he never did. So one day God got fed up with this guy's whining and pleading, and he said in his most booming voice, her most booming voice, "Well, at least go buy a ticket, for crying out loud. Can't help you if you don't take action." That's an old story, but still appropriate for an illustration about taking action. The activity of the divine infinite, the activity of God, is expressed by providing us with infinite good. And our action completes that circle. Our action completes the manifestation of infinite good. Sitting in our seats, lying on our couches, and just praying for things will most often not get us those things, as we are called to take action. We are called to be the hands, the feet, the voice of Spirit. Here's a question for you to ask regarding your miracle. If you've thought about something since this series began that you're wanting to bring into manifestation, here's a question for you. How would you act if you thought your desire was possible? If you truly thought your desire was possible, what would you do next? Because what happens sometimes is that we have set an unconscious, subconscious box around us. And within the box are the areas of the possible. And outside the borders of the box are, oh, that's not going to happen, or that's not for me, or I haven't done that yet. Right? We set up this border, and we just don't move beyond its limits. We don't move beyond those borders. But limits are being broken all the time by people who choose to live the question, what would I do if I didn't think this was impossible? What would I do? What would be the next step? The impossible happens all the time. For years and years, the record for running a mile hovered just above 4 minutes. So-called experts agreed that it would never be broken, the 4-minute mile, that the limits of physical capacity had been reached, and it was impossible. Now, you probably know this name. This is also an old story, but germane to what we're talking about today. There's a guy by the name of Roger Bannister. And he didn't buy that it was impossible. And here's the interesting thing. I've read a little bit more about Roger Bannister over the last couple of days. He did not train the way everybody told him that he should train. He trained in a way that made sense for him, and he thought he could break the 4-minute mile. And people, no, that'll never happen. No human is going to be able to do that. So you might as well just train the way we want you to train. And he didn't do that. So, in 1954, he ran the mile in 3 minutes, 59 and 4/10 of a second. You might think he just got lucky that day, that the wind was behind him in the perfect way, or that he had extraordinary abilities that only 1 in a million people have. So, the 4-minute mile stood for decades. And when Roger Bannister broke that time, 66 people, I think the number, don't quote me, broke it soon after that. So, 46 days after he broke the 4-minute mile, an Australian runner by the name of John Landy broke the barrier again. 46 days. With a time of 3 minutes and 58 seconds. Then just a year later, 3 runners broke the 4-minute mile barrier in one race. 3 runners. And over the last half century, more than 1,000 runners have broken the barrier that had once been considered hopelessly out of reach. Why? What changed? The impossible barrier had been removed because of Roger Bannister's mindset. And once Roger Bannister got that in his mind and proved it could be done, everybody said, oh, or a lot of people said, oh, if he can do it, I can do it. Right? If one person can do it, I can do it. And so I say that to all of us. If one person can do it, you can do it. Whatever it is your desire, whatever it is you want to bring into manifestation in your life, just look to see. I mean, you could be the first, absolutely. But if you can't break that barrier because nobody's done it before you, look for somebody who has done it before you and know that it can be done for you too and in you too. So the current man's fastest time, because I looked this up too because it was fun. The current men's fastest time is 3 minutes, 43 seconds, 43:13. And of course, because I'm who I am, I looked up the woman's fastest time. And that's 4 minutes, 12 seconds, 33/10. So women are getting closer too. Act as if it is possible, and it is. Act as if it is possible, and it is. And so we move now to condition 10 of 12. Engaging the cycle. So the miracle of loaves and fishes is a circular flow of energy and resources, right? As conditions 1 through 9 are established, energy flows toward the miracle worker. And in the 10th condition, the miracle worker causes the incoming flow to circle back so that travels out away from them. So I want to go back a minute. This isn't in my notes, but I feel like it's important. So talking about those first conditions, that once we do this, once we empty ourselves, once we're in alignment with Spirit, once we ask and claim, once we maximize, thank you, Don, once we maximize that energy and we give, we're grounded in Spirit, and then we visualize the outcome, we're grateful, we act as if, that creates the whole flow of energy. So, it goes back out. Once we're in that flow, the energy goes back out and miracles happen. The passage in Matthew tells us, I'm not going to bring up the slide because I'm all discombobulated here. He gave them, meaning the broken pieces of food, to his disciples, and the disciples placed them before the people. The disciples placed them before the people. He returns the food to the disciples, and the disciples give it back to the crowd. That's the current. That's the cycle. the energy loops back and creates the miracle. And then at the end of the miracle, when the remaining fragments of food are gathered and returned, the energy comes full circle. And remember, just not for nothing, but this miracle begins and ends with Jesus going apart for a while, with Jesus going into the silence, connecting and grounding. From the book. Every enlightened person in history has tried to tell us that we receive as we give. It will always be true. What goes around comes around. We reap just as we sow, and as we give, so shall we receive. He says there's one important exception. When we consciously establish a circular current in conjunction with the other conditions of miracles, resources can actually multiply as they pass around the circuit. So I was doing some research about electricity and a transformer. My only degree in electricity and transformers is from Google. So what I read and the diagrams I saw were that when the energy comes into a power plant and they send it out big energy, hundreds, sometimes hundreds of thousands of volts. And yet, how does that energy get into our home? Right? How come it doesn't blow up everything? Because they use a transformer that has coils on one side, bigger coils, spaced coils, that takes the big energy, and then it goes around smaller coils that reduces the energy into our homes so that we can power what we want to power without blowing our house up. And the same thing can happen in the reverse, that we have smaller energy and it goes out into bigger energy and it multiplies. So it's circular. The way what we think about is where our energy flows. So when we're grounded in that circular giving and receiving in that cycle, and we block the big energy that's coming in, we can't make anything happen. When we block the energy of spirit, we stop it right where we are. But when we add those other coils of these 7 conditions, we can let that blessing go from us and come back to us. I hope that makes sense. Then I'll say it a little clearer because I wrote something down, just so it's clarified. As electrons flow around and around the series of circular coils within a transformer, the power can be increased or decreased. The voltage of the electricity that emerges from the transformer changes the voltage of electricity that enters. That's probably a lot clearer than I just said it, but there you have it. Another really important thing about cycles is that growth occurs in cycles. Just you've seen the growth rings of a tree, right? And even the biggest tree, the greatest tree, the oldest tree in the forest has experienced times of lack, times of drought, if you will. So what we are called to do is weather those times, those ebb tides, those droughts in our lives, knowing that if the tide goes out, it always comes back in. So we're called to be at peace in those times of what seems like lack or drought or the ebb tide. So when the tide goes out, let's not panic. It will return. Don't ask what's wrong or try to refrain from asking what's wrong. Ask, how does Spirit want to move through me now? How can I be a channel for good, a channel for joy, a channel for giving, and a channel for receiving? What does Spirit want me to do now? So, now we have 10 of the 12 life-transforming conditions of a miracle. A miracle worker has attained stillness of mind and is grounded in the presence. A miracle worker is aligned with the spirit of love through compassion. A miracle worker is a vehicle of giving and has conviction behind their visualization. A miracle worker stays focused on the source and is grateful for everything. A miracle worker acts confidently and without hesitation. And a miracle worker relaxes through the ever-present cycles of life. You may not feel like a miracle worker yet, but I invite you to persist in opening your consciousness to these conditions. Persist in establishing these conditions as a practice, and you will begin making miracles, because that's the way it works. I affirm this truth. I claim this truth for each and every one of us. Namaste. And let us breathe together as we prepare for our celebration of abundance. You can see on the slide the various ways to give to Unity of Stuart. And I normally say during this time of the celebration of abundance, so that we can continue, I say thank you so that we can continue the work of Unity of Stuart. And so what I want to say to that today is thank you. You are part of this continuing work. Your presence here, your role modeling in life, your way of being in your family and in the world is why this message goes out into the world in more ways than one. So I thank you for that this morning. Let's affirm our prosperity prayer and our love offering blessing. Together. In a universe overflowing with the allness of God, all of the needs of Unity of Stuart and those we serve are instantly, constantly, and bountifully met. From every direction, known and unknown, expected and unexpected, our abundant good comes to us now. We are grateful. Amen. And as we're affirming our love offering blessing, I invite you to take your gift in your hand or your gift in your consciousness. You may want to hold the hand of the person you're here with, giving the gift with, as we affirm together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give and receive always in love. And let's sing about it. Let's take another deep breath together as we allow those vibrations of gratitude to move through us. And I have a couple of more announcements. Actually, before I do that, let us bless our kiddos. Give me 1 second, Van, because I set up for the wrong thing. Here we go. we invite you to hold our kiddos in your prayers, seeing them safe, at peace, whole and healthy, and thriving in spirit. And here come the next couple of announcements. If you would like to serve on our welcome team, we invite you to email. Well, if you're in the sanctuary, you're the only people that are going to serve on the welcome team. So please sign up at the information table if you'd like to be a part of our welcome team. We already welcomed back our choir. Let's give them another hand for a beautiful performance today. Thank you. Thank you. And I don't have a slide for it, but I invite you to remember that Cheryl Roby is on Facebook every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock for a healing meditation. And of course, you can access those after the fact on Facebook. If you'd like to be on the list for being reminded about meditation, you can email May at admin@unityofstuart.org. With that, let us close with the prayer for protection and the peace song. Oh, the prayer for protection. That's right. I got it right. Okay. Together. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. And now the peace song.